As the Rio Grande flows between Mexico and the U.S., tensions at the border are at an all-time high in recent years. Since the tumultuous departure of former President Donald Trump and the arrival of the newly elected President Joe Biden, the message on immigration policy and border security has shifted dramatically. The Trump administration sold the public on one major idea. The hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens crossing the border must be stopped.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
In 2017, former President Donald Trump officially declared the crisis at the southern border a national emergency. He also promised to build a great, beautiful wall. And the best part?
We're going to make them pay for that wall. Now, the wall is $10 billion to $12 billion if I do it. If these guys do it, it'll end up costing $200 billion.
Trump estimated the cost of the wall to be $8 billion. However, the real cost would be much, much more. The U.S.-Mexico border is 1,954 miles long, stretching from the Pacific Ocean to the tip of South Texas. Approximately 700 miles have some sort of barricade or fence. The history of walls and borders separating nations goes as far back as the Great Wall of China, Hadrian's Wall, and the many-layered wall surrounding the city of Constantinople. The word Eden in the Bible means walled garden. The purpose of a wall is to keep in what is precious and sacred. More practically speaking, to maintain the order of the state. In conjunction with that definition, a wall's purpose is therefore also to keep out the things that one does not wish to be inside the walled garden. There are two philosophies on the border. For conservatives, the idea of boundaries are very important. They like things to remain inside their boxes. Liberals, on the other hand, prefer things to be in motion. They do not like things to be stagnant. According to the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol website, 452 miles of border wall have been constructed as of January 5th of this year. The Congressional Research Service reported that the new barriers constructed were different from the pedestrian and vehicle fencing they are replacing. According to the report, Trump's refurbishments pose a formidable barrier, but it is not the high, thick masonry structure that most dictionaries term a wall.
There will not be another foot of wall constructed in my administration.
Rather than a concrete wall, President Biden prefers a high-tech solution. 21st century solutions for a 21st century problem. He would use tools such as radar, LiDAR, and high-resolution cameras to track down illegal immigrants crossing the border. Technology has come a long way since the mid-2000s, particularly in AI-backed image detection. For Border Patrol agents trying to survey the long, rural, mountainous stretches of the border, unmanned surveillance aircrafts, otherwise known as drones, such as the new SUAS drone, are among their favorites.
Some people are concerned with the environmental causes from building or completing the physical wall. For one, the wildlife travel would be stunted from the physical border. This also hurts the habitat, cuts animal population. It leads to genetic diversity being affected. It also leads to the loss of natural resources. And wildlife specialist and biologist Jeff Corwin can be stated to say that the perfect extinction storm would happen from the physical border being completed. The next couple points to show that citizenship needs to be easier to obtain. Just for an application, it's $700 plus. And they're also trying to push a requirement for a tax transcript, making the process even harder. These next couple points are just to show that the border isn't really the problem. As you can see right here, the border apprehensions compared to visa overstays are only half from 2015, 2016, and 2017. It can also be shown here that We already have border fencing, and the biggest problem is Texas being the Rio Grande Valley.
And it's the only area without any fencing.
Next point I want to show is that compared to other countries and Mexico, there's only a 0.2 difference in 2016 to show that Mexico is actually decreasing in the amount of immigrants coming into the United States. The last graph or stats I want to show are from 2007, being that Mexico had 52% with the new arrivals. Compare that now to 2016 with Mexico at 24%, and other countries actually leading at 36% to show that Mexico isn't actually the problem with immigration.
This is why the United States government should not complete the building of the border wall between the United States and Mexico.